of the F4 division of the XRL Racing League, with all coverage brought to you tonight by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk, a track which is kind of like the high downforce nature of Monte Carlo, but sharing more similarities with Long Beach, USA, and also Albert Park in Melbourne, Australia. It's a track where the walls are close. There's a little bit of runoff occasionally, but as we've seen from the F1 and the GP2 divisions, there's been plenty of action involved with the safety cars, and you get the feeling that might carry on this week. Good evening to all you. I'm Pete Marcroft, and in the box with me tonight is Adam Roberts. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Swish. Well, hopefully the F4 guys can live up to another good race, as they have done pretty much all season. I'm genuinely looking forward to this, and, well, 50%, and as you've mentioned, safety cars galore in F1 and GP2. I wonder if we're going to be getting the same again tonight.
Well, it's a track that seems to bring out the best and worst in the drivers. You can sometimes see the guys really attacking, being clean, and then you also see the guys going too close to the barriers, putting the wheels in the wrong place, and then, of course, bringing out the safety car. So, plenty of opportunities for a bit of disasters, but also some on-track bravery. Head of the state, meanwhile, is Piper in the Williams. He's gone for the prime tyres. The medium compound here at Singapore has already gone wide at the final corner. That gives him a better straight line speed on the start-finish straight. So, Automata is doing some question marks over this lap. Into turn 1, misses the apex by a country mile. It's nowhere near it. Has to get out of the gas going into turns 2 and 3. A bit of a scruffy start to the lap so far from Piper.
Just to correct you there, Squish, Gaston's actually the first man on the road. He's coming up towards turn 9 now. He's on the option tyre. Just looked at my reference points for the first sector. It seemed pretty good, actually. So, Gaston so far, who's come back this week after missing Monza last week because he was on holiday, lucky boy, he's doing well.
Indeed, on stream meanwhile, Rusty says, good evening, Swish, good evening, Bobbers. Yep, good evening to you as well. Staying on board with Piper in the moment, says the one I've got new from I can't guarantee I'll reach us casting in time. Goes around turn 9, Piper getting a little scruffy on the medium compound. You've obviously raced this in the F1 division. Is that tyre so much harder to use than the Super Soft?
Definitely, yes. I mean, the difference between these two compound tyres is around about a second and a half, I would say. Could even be more sometimes, depending on, obviously, when your pit stops are during the race and how good your setup is compared to everybody else. But I think the way to go for these guys is, you know, you could take a leap out of Felix's book, actually, from the F1 division. He qualified on the prime tyre, did one lap and then pitted, and then went for options the rest of the race. And obviously safety cars did help his setup and his strategy in a little way, but I would say the more option tyres they use, the quicker you'll be.
Well, in the meantime, Piper comes into sector 3, gets way wide on the curves, returns 20 and 22. Gets that completely out of action there. Lap time, he's going to go off the track, all 4 tyres off at both parts of the final corner. A 42.4 to go P2, but a scruffy and not too legal ending there. Craig Senna, meanwhile, in the Red Bull, going through turn 9. He's on the Super Soft, gets a lot more pace out of the corner. As you mentioned, that compound tyre makes such a big difference. For all you guys watching out there, I don't know how many of you are at the moment. It's currently showing a 0 on my screen. A big bad nothing. But if you're watching out there, get your messages on like Rusty Nuts did. You can either use the chat box here on twitch.tv, or if you're watching using the app, you can also send it directly through Xbox Live to either myself, GamerTax Swishbone, or to XRL Bobbert, and we'll get the messages read out that way. As we start sector 3, Craig Senna gets a bit greedy on the inside curve there at turn 14, into 15 and 16. Gets just a little too wide on the entry, and then Nelson Piquet's famous corner managed to avoid spinning it like the cheating Brazilian, and under the grandstand gets a little wide on entry but manages to avoid the barriers. Good lap so far. I don't think it's going to be as fast as Scassins though.
Yeah, Scassin actually, you know, he did a 39.8, which is a really respectable time actually for these guys. Craig Senna, who's actually coming for some tier 6, a 140.9 for a tier 6 driver. Not bad at all. Currently P2.
A second off, it's not bad at all. Spinning off 56 on the string, meanwhile gets in and says hello. Apex Peace on a terrible first lap and 145.5. He might be on the medium compound, but that's very, very slow. And you'll expect to find about 2 seconds at least on that compound. Meanwhile, John Digweed, he's on a lap in the Ferrari behind the Lotus on track animals. So gotta be careful he doesn't get held up. As we go into sector 3, goes through turn 14. No wheel problems there as we enter the chicanes of 15 and 16. Brushes the inside curve while avoiding getting on the power too early to avoid spinning the car. One of the things I noticed when I've seen the race last night in the GP2 division was if you get on the accelerator during those curves, it gets your car very greedy on the power supply. It's kind of like you're rally driving rather than F1.
Yeah, it might look good on the stream and on the cameras to everybody that a car is sliding around a corner, but effectively you lose a lot of time.
John Digweed goes P3 on a 1:41.2. So we've got a bit of a pace spread at the moment after Carson's blazing pole position lap. Meanwhile, Ryan is coming through in the Ferrari. He's aborted. He's completely avoided that. On the stream, Positive 37 says, evening Bullets and evening Swish. Good evening to you. BHA Cavalwares on an outlap in the McLaren on the medium tyres with his teammate Jordan. Actually, no, it's Apex is Carson's teammate Jordan even in the Mercedes on the soft compound tyres. Goes through to turn 6. DRS flat wide open. We saw a lot of overtaking potential here, but with the natural tight nature of the circuit, is it so easy to get past someone clean there?
If you've got a great run at the previous corner, which I believe is turn 4, yes, it is turn 4, then yeah, if you put it into Rick's mixture anywhere, and John just loses an end plate by going too wide there.
Just hit the wall at turn 9.
Yeah, depends on your gear. If you've got a really short gearbox, you will find it difficult. But if you time it just right, and you use, I'd say, maybe 3/4 of your curves, you'll find that you'll make it an easy move on down on the inside, and you should hold the position really.
Well, talking about Jordan's lap here, obviously, we've seen that he's lost his end plate, and I think he's actually aborted his lap. He's going very slowly. How much does losing an end plate hurt your lap here?
Oh, you lose so much time. It's quite unbelievable as to how much time you can lose. I mean, if you've gotten used to it, maybe if you've done in practice by maybe purposely losing an end plate and just driving around afterwards just to see your time difference, I'd say you probably lose the best part of maybe 3/4 of a second a lap, I would say, with a loss of an end plate. Obviously, if it's a bit more than that, then obviously you'll lose even more time. But obviously, the main job for these guys really is to keep it out of the wall, try and avoid some of the curves as possible, and yeah, basically keep it clean, and you should find yourself, at the top end of the field.
Well, just got on the street now. You saw going through turn 7. Merdest Merde. Driver who's coming at the 11th hour. Good luck pronouncing that name. Got slightly all 4 tyres off on the inside there at turn 7. Not sure if he gained much of an advantage. But we've seen this weekend's been a little bit improved in terms of the track performance. Less people going all 4 tyres off. Is that purely because that if you do that, you're getting close to the barriers? Or is it one of those circuits where it's not a big gain due to the lack of grip?
I would probably say, really, if you do cut the curbs as Medicine has just done that again off the Anderson Bridge, you won't really find yourself gaining too much time in all fairness. Obviously, we do say to the drivers to avoid corner cutting as much as possible, or they may find themselves that their laps could be discounted, or they will get penalties. But yeah, really on a track like Singapore, you're not really gaining too much time, apart from this corner that Mercer has gone through and he's cut once again. But yeah, that's probably the only corner you can get away with if you do cut it.
Well, let's see how those last time is. A 1:41.1, good enough for P3. Also, Bullets, if you got the stream on, please mute it. I'm hearing myself being echoed back 5 seconds later. It's rather distracting. On the stream, meanwhile, XRL Rusty says he wonders if these guys can break as many wings as he and Panda did last night. Well, you guys certainly run it close in terms of the nose cone destruction championship. Apex Piece has gone out on the option tyres, evidently not happy with the primaries. Track extended at turn 7, got all 4 tyres off there. You've got to be careful you don't do that too often, or you might get yourself a penalty. On the new rules, of course, if you've seen corner cutting in qualifying, you can get 5 or 10-second penalties, depending on how many times you cut. So make sure you're avoiding doing that if you're racing tomorrow night in the T6 and F5000 races. Those will be covered by Dan Fisk and also by F1 Speed. So more action to come throughout the week there. We're going on to the Anderson hairpin, quite wide on entry there, Apex Speed. It gets wide to the edge of the bridge. I mean, in that one there, the Anderson hairpin, I've seen a lot of drivers taking a more karting line, almost like it's a wet track. Is that really the best way to get pace out of that corner?
No, definitely not. The best way to do is to brake early, try and get the car as close to the apex as possible. I would say try avoid the curb. I would say if you take a little bit, I mean, I'm aboard with Blue Gunner now. It's just about to come up towards the Anderson hairpin. I'm just going to see how he takes it, see if he... Yeah, he's a little squirrely on the braking there, actually, but I would say if you're towards more the middle of the track, you should find yourself getting a good edge there, good traction, and you get more speed down towards the bridge and into the final sector.
Well, Ryan's on another lap here. Let's see if he can actually get a decent qualifying time. Goes through turn 17, runs on the curve, and he's also had to avoid some debris, which has been left on the track as he's gone into the grandstand turn. So, definitely not the easiest of laps here for Ryan. On the screen, meanwhile, Fozzie is saying there's such low grip, no gain using the curve. Not what we've seen so far. Ryan comes into the final corner now. Looks like he's going to make a big gain here. Is he going to find his Carson's time? At 1:39.1, he goes provisional pole. Meanwhile, Tempo 3D says, go on Craig. I'm guessing he means Craig Senna by that. Currently out on an out lap and about to qualify again. Captain White, meanwhile, in the McLaren boxes after a very slow lap on the prime tyres. And Jordan's taking a very slow out lap in the Mercedes, not yet set a time. And neither has Rapids, who's a very, very, very late replacement, driving in the sister Sauber.
Yeah, there's currently actually nobody on a lap at the moment. We've got to that point where people are coming in for their last stints are on out laps at the moment, as I've just been given a black screen clearly indicating that nobody is going to be bothering to do a lap at the moment.
Well, it looks like Sick Harry is currently the closest one. He's in the Williams, just coming to the final turn now. On the option tyres, he's got out of the gas and compromised his exit from the corner, and that gives him less straight line speed down towards this kind of like reverse of Melbourne. At the start, he got like the triple chicane, very similar to Melbourne, but mirror image. And he's got a Lotus who's come out of the pits. We'll see him coming. Don't think it's going to cost him too much time, as he will just be getting the traction down there. Sick Harry probably caught that pretty much peach perfect. Going through turn 5, brushes the outside wall and gets away without damaging the car as he gets the DRS flap open, uses half his curse bar through the kink at 6. And onto the brakes at turn 7. Let's see how he takes this. Well, probably compromised himself a bit, took a bit too much speed out of the car there. Got really good turning, got planted on the line, but just didn't get on the gas early. Obviously not confident on the traction in this Williams.
Yeah, it's one of those corners where it's a little bit deceptive actually. I mean, a couple of the F1 guys we were actually debating whether or not in certain sense, whether to go second or third gear, because even in third gear you might be going roughly the same place, but there's so much speed you can take through that corner that, you know, it can be really deceptive, as Harry's probably just found out there.
Indeed, I mean, it took the Anson hairpin pretty much as you said. It goes over the bridge at the start of Sector 3 into Turn 14. I wish more of these corners had names. I hate saying Turn 14, into 15, into 16, and then into PK. Yes, I'm calling it that. As he goes round the inside here, and Harry gets very close to the outside wall, really ragging the pace as best as he can. Goes under the grandstand. Pace looks pretty solid. Is he going to be threatening the likes of Ryan and Ascassin? Possibly not, but he might be able to dethrone Craig Senna at the moment. His pace looks pretty good. Into the final corner. Has he managed to carry the speed? Or has that mistake at turn 7 cost him a bit too much time? At 1:43 goes P3 for now.
So here's the question. So you're allowed to call that corner PK, but I can't call the corner with no name at start Dave.
Well, PK's named after a driver who actually did something in that corner. I don't know any guy called Dave who did anything at the corner after Bruxelles Ravage. If you can find the person called Dave who did that, maybe Coulthard, for instance, then I'll let you do it. Into turn 1 for John Digweed as he starts on lap. Well, I think this might be an in-lap here because his tyres are a bit blemished. I don't know, I'm going to ride on board for now. It might be a potentially serious lap here. But 1:41.2 is the best that the sister Ferrari can do. Falls a bit wide on the exit of 5. That compromises its speed. DRS open, curves deployed. Goes through the kick at 6, down towards 7. Easily flat out as he tries to get to the top of the range of the revs and gets wide on the exit, trying to get maximum manual grip, and heading into turn 8, which is a tricky corner because of the inside curve and natural understeering to the wall. It takes that beautifully and goes round 9 pretty decently. Doesn't use all the track, but gets quite good traction down on the street. Meanwhile, Eyes the Best says Senna for top 3. Well, he's been pushed out for now, so he's got to make it all count in his final lap as John Dinweed hits the curve at turn 12, and that compromises him into the Anderson hairpin.
I'm on board with the Mercedes of Jordan, currently P4 on 140.6. He's on his last flying lap. This is definitely an improvement for him. I think he could definitely challenge Harry for third. As to whether or not he challenges the top 2, I'm not quite sure, but he'll probably want to get as close to his teammate as possible.
Definitely, as John Digweed goes into PK, avoids the inside curve, goes wide to the outside to make sure he gets nowhere near those curves, doesn't want to ruin his tyres, doesn't want to risk spinning the car under the grandstand, makes that fatal error of going a bit too tight. Someone's dropped a wing ahead of him, bit of end plate, luckily it was off the racing line. It's not compromised him too badly, but I'm not sure if this is going to be an improvement. Into the final corner, gets on the gas, has he gone faster? No, he hasn't. No improvement for John Digweed. Moving further back, BHA Captain Waiter, he's in 11th place, totally out of it. He's on the option tyres, but he's got a slow Sauber blocking him, and he's going into the grandstand. The Sauber's going his way and hit the wall. So BHA Capoeira has been badly impeded there, but I get the feeling the Sauber might have been on a lap, and then there's no way for him to go. BHA Capoeira will be absolutely furious. He's going to improve his lap time, but I don't see him getting anywhere near at the front of the grid. He's got a 1:42.4. He's probably lost at least a second and a half there. His teammate RS Blue going to be backs out in the McLaren, so he's not going to qualify. Escarcin, meanwhile, on a very slow in-lap, so he's not going anywhere either. So that is the end of qualifying. Let's bring in a rundown. At the top, we've got Ryan on first place on a 1:39.1, then Flame Dragon on a 1:39.4 in second, Escarcin on 1:39.8 in third, before Sick Harry the first on the 40s on a 43. Then you've got Jordan on a 40.5, H-Max Peter on a 40.9, and Craig Senna on a 40.9. So disappointing for Senna. Well, I could have got towards the top three there. And then we're into the 41s with Mercedes, John Digweed, and finally right at the bottom, John Digweed. Fozzie believes it was actually a ghost car, which is the Sauber.
Yeah. It's coming to the end of the qualifying session. When you see the dots on the map go white, it means that they finished their qualifying and they become a ghost car.
So it's just unfortunate. It's a case of timing your qualifying, making sure you don't get caught up. But BHA Capoeira will be absolutely furious with that because he was on a much faster pace.
Yeah, definitely. His teammate Blue Gunner, actually, he was on a fairly decent lap, but he turned in far too early coming into the grandstand, and he lost an end plate, so his lap had gone. So both McLarens not having a great qualifying, but Ryan out in front and Flame Dragon within 3/10 of him. Those two could be pretty tense and hairy coming down to turn one.
Well, we saw that last night in the GP2 division when we saw the two Mercedes out on the front row of the grid when we saw Fatchan and Jamie, and then the next thing we knew, first corner, both go around and end up being like 4th, 5th and 6th. So it shows that anything can happen and the race can turn on an instant moment. Now, as we head into the actual race Grand Prix itself, it's 31 laps here at Singapore. It's definitely a marathon rather than a sprint, this circuit. It might be a low distance, but the slow lap times mean you do a lot of laps to make it through to the end. And of course, with tyre wear being so shocking here, is it one of those tracks where being cautious is more likely to get you to win, or do you go aggressive?
Well, as I found out in the F1 division, I actually went for more. I was trying to be really aggressive. I actually got away with it. I didn't lose when I was actually racing on the track itself, not going to the pit lane. I didn't lose an end plate or a wing of any sort, so I got away with it. But I think the best thing to do for these guys is the more cautious you are, the higher you're up you're going to be, and obviously the more wings you're not going to have to change in the pit stops. But saying that, even if you're even quicker than somebody, even if you're missing an end plate, you're going to lose maybe 2.5 seconds for a wing change in the pit stop. So effectively, it may not lose you too much time, but what the guys need to realise here is that the prime tyres are so unbelievably slow, and that the more options you use, even if you do more pit stops, the quicker you'll be.
Well, the best way we're going to find out what's happening is to actually get out onto the circuit and find out what's happening. So let's get out there. It's going to be 31 laps of Marina Bay Singapore under floodlights in the night air by the Asian Ocean. Plenty of potential opportunities for overtakes, but also plenty of action, and going to be very much a tyre and brake breaker. Now, when we're out there, coverage will be brought to you exclusively live on twitch.tv by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk. Please keep your messages coming in both in the chat box and also via Xbox Live, Game Attack Swishbone and XRL Bullets. But for now, let's get out to the circuit. On the starting grid for the Singapore Grand Prix, Ryan leads the way from pole position. He's got a great chance to pick up some big points here, but he's got some fast chargers behind him like Escarcin, so he's really got to keep his eyes on the road. Going to be a tricky race, close to the walls, under floodlights, anything is possible, and the high tyre wear is going to make this very difficult. Once those 5 lights go out, we will be racing here in Marina Bay Singapore. And it's lights out, and away they go. Heading out to the opening corner, Ryan's got a great start. He's being followed quickly by one of the Red Bulls. Dives on the inside, but gets away with that. One of the Mercedes in that might be the Scarce's missed the chicane, and he's actually got one of the Williams. Is why they want to take third place. A big mistake there from Scarce. Meanwhile, second place chasing quickly behind the Ferrari of Ryan's Flame Dragon. Look at the gap they've already got. That's about 1 second potentially, and the Williams under big pressure now, and is being followed on the outside. Sick Harry Gate. Look at the cluster of cars going for turn 6. They're like 4 abreast into turn 7. There's Carson in 4th place. He's being followed by. He's gone wide, almost off the track at turn 7. That's going to make it wide into turn 8. And look at the Red Bull down on the inside. Craig Senna as well. The Salmons go straight on into the wall. I get the feeling that might be Rapids trying to avoid an accident. Piper in the Williams goes to the side of Wisconsin towards turn 10. He might fancy a cheeky lunge here, but backs out of it, realises he's not got the track position. We've got Jordan Kane 6th place, being followed by Craig Senna in the Red Bull. And then behind him we've got the Sistel Lotus being piloted by as Apex Beast, who fancies a cheeky move, played by Master Essence and Anderson hairpin, but backs out of it when he sees he's just too far behind, and he's going to make a mistake if he tries it.
Yeah, the Sauber that went to was actually RC Rapids, but he's got away with that. He's got no damage whatsoever, so he's got
very lucky, boys.
He's counted his lucky stars.
Yeah, indeed. Jordan Kane goes wide. Oh, meanwhile, Flame Dragon's in the wall. Flame Dragon's made a catastrophic error at 16. He's done what Lazy Panda did last night in the GP2 division. He's lost his front wing and has gone from a certain podium to the back of the Crocodile as we got a huge cluster of cars from 4th place down here as we got this Sister Williams of Scarcin under big pressure now. As Piper just around the inside of the final turn. Oh my God, what an overtake! He got that right on the inside. Beautiful driving as the Mercedes goes off the circuit. And Jordan now to 4th place. Craig standing behind him and Scarcin down in 6th. Missing the chicanes. He's all over the place.
Captain Waiters just made a great move on the Lotus of Craig Senna there in third one. He takes 7th place, but Ryan out in front. This is what happens when you've got clean air. He's already got about a 3-second lead after 1 lap.
We saw this happen in the Hungarian Grand Prix with Nico Rosberg, but of course, once the safety car got involved, that completely neutered it. And this circuit's high rate as Jordan Van Miller the inside of turn 7. A little bit of contact there, but great driving from the Williams to hang on the outside. Into turn 8, oh, Jordan got hit by the Red Bull of Craig Senna, and that's pushed him into the Williams, and they're 3 abreast into turn 9. This is suicidal. Craig Senna goes into the wall. Well, you got to admit, you should have backed out that move a lot earlier than that. And BHA came away a blast past us Cassin before turn 10. Unbelievable stuff.
This is just absolutely mayhem. There's mayhem just everywhere that you look. Cassin actually lost the place to BHA Captain Ware, so Captain Ware, after having a poor qualifying, has gone from 11th, I think, to 5th.
It just shows what happens if you're keeping on the track and you're doing your best. We've seen many drivers do that for real. David Coulthard did it in the Nürburgring in 2005. We're driving for Red Bull. He ended up in 4th place out of nowhere on the first lap. I remember did Martin Brundle going, that's David Coulthard. Kind of like that. It was really shocked to seeing him there. And Scarcin really struggling on these tyres. And BHA Captain Waiter is all over the back of Jordan. BHA Captain Waiter might have got himself back into contention here for a podium.
Craig, I think the thing for Captain Ware is because he's qualified outside the top 10, he will be on brand new tyres compared to these guys who have qualified on them.
Big time. Sebastian meanwhile says, oh dear, Craig on the stream. Well, there's not much else to say to that. RC Rapids meanwhile, despite qualifying 14th, it's his 7th place on the prime tyres. Now, that's got, as Scarcin makes an ugly track extension at turn 2, goes nowhere near the apex, and that gains him a chunk of time. RC Rapids, though, probably not going to threaten him too much, but despite that, 7th place on the prime tyres, he could be an absolute nuisance when these guys go into the box.
Yes, definitely, but out in front. 2nd place, actually, Sick Harry in the Williams. He's been known to be a bit of a street circuit specialist, actually. And
bit of a Pastor Maldonado.
He is a bit, yeah, and he's got away from the guys behind. And I wonder if he can catch up to Ryan or maintain the gap, because, you know, clean air is definitely what you need. I mean, if you go back to the F1 division race, it's where Nutters and myself, we were the top 2. We built ourselves a 16-second gap by the end of lap 10.
Oh, Jordan's got to be careful. He's just cut the chicane at turns 11 and 12, and that's given him a chance on the Pied Piper into the Anderson hairpin. Pied Piper resists in the Williams. He's being chased by BHA Captain Waiter, who's fallen off surprisingly. I get the feeling he's trying to hang back, maybe protect his tyres here, because you know these guys will have to pit around lap 6. He might be able to hang on to around 8 or 9, so he might be able to try and make a different strategy out of this BHA Captain Waiter. He's already on a huge net gain, so he might as well stick it out.
quite interesting actually so far is obviously with the big cluster that we had on lap 1, if we go to obviously now we're coming to the end of the 3rd lap, and it's amazing to see how many cars have dropped off the back because of mistakes that have happened already.
Well, I see so many collisions that have occurred. I mean, Temper 3D's asking what happened to Craig. The answer is he went suicidal and tried to go 3 abreast into turn 9 and hit the wall. Simple as that. You know, he should have backed out and moved a lot earlier. Oh, VHC after the way, I lost about half a second of DRS advantage there, and that's when he's not got close with turn 1 as he did with the lights. But meanwhile, up ahead, Jordan's catching quickly to the back of Pied Piper, so these guys could all be going 3 abreast into turn 7 if Capoeira gets a good run off turn 5. Goes a little wide, but short shifts to get extra grip. DRS flat wide open. Up ahead, Jordan has got a great opportunity. Let's get on board with the work Mercedes here. As he dives onto the left, he's going to make a late move. Yes, he is. Can he get the car stopped? Yes, he can. Oh, mistake there. Pied Piper tried to defend on the outside, went off the circuit, and then got sidepod glitched. And RC Rapids has profited from that. He's now in P5. That's a gain of 9 positions in 4 laps. That's extraordinary.
I think RC Rapids is going to be liking the fact I've persuaded him to come in now. I don't think he could have asked for a much better start than what he's got.
It's what they say, you've got to make sure you keep yourself out of trouble. How many times have we seen this in real life racing? You don't have to be the fastest driver on the track, you have to make sure you make it to the end. Meanwhile, Apex Beast is all over the back of Escarcin. Escarcin's all the way down in 7th place. He's lost out so badly after that start to the race.
Yeah, and what all this is doing is benefiting those who are right behind him in the championship standings. I mean, you've got Ryan, who's the best part of 40 points behind him as we come into Singapore.
Apex Beast caught in the corner at turn 16.
Sorry, just carrying on what I was saying then. You know, if Ryan gets a potential win tonight, he will close the gap significantly and brings him right back into play.
Oh, ugly move from Medis Nerde. He cut the inside at turn 21, and that's got him a run now on the back of the Lotus, and now he's trying to go into the pits. Missed the curb and gone back out and back in again. That pit lane there in Singapore is famous for being very easy to extend and cut it at the same time. And that's exactly what he's just done. And RC Rapids is all over the back of the Williams. I get the feeling he might have actually been passed on the DRS there. Indeed, the Pied Piper's now back ahead of him. So whatever our incident was when he got sidepod glitched, he's not lost him too much time. BHA Capoeira with DRS, looks to the back of Jordan and the Mercedes. Jordan goes to turn 7, keeps a nice clean line. BHA Capoeira is definitely catching him. These new tyres are certainly benefiting the McLaren driver.
Most definitely has, and well, I would be very surprised if he doesn't make a move by the end of this lap actually. But then again, you never know. He might just go in at the same time as everybody else just to make sure he's on the same strategy now. He's caught up to the guys where he needs to be towards the front end of the field.
Capoeira cutting turn 11, going over the inside. I've seen that from one too many drivers so far. We're only 5 laps in. It's so easy to get a Tottingham penalty if you're not careful. Well, Capoeira's now got a run on the back of Jordan, rightly or wrongly as a result of that, over the Anderson Bridge into turn 14. Thinks about a cheeky move on the outside. We saw Mark Webber do this on Jenson Button in 2013. And indeed, he's going to try and stick it on the outside, but has decided that it's just too far behind. Oh, Capoeira makes a bit of a mistake there, touching the back of Jordan. Jordan nearly spins the car, gets on the tracks to hold it. As they go into the grandstand, he's going to have to wait for DRS. Oh, both drivers cut in turn 22, and the VHA Capoeira trying to get out of the way. I think he's going to try and go around the inside of it. Oh, what classic driving! He actually forced Jordan into an error because Jordan wanted to pit, so he's gone up the inside, stopping him from getting into the pits and gaining 2 or 3 seconds. The crafty old fox.
Fantastic. That's intelligent driving there.
BHA Capoeira running in P3 now, but Pied Piper and the Williams has caught him back up. Pied Piper's not going to make it easy for him, but he's got a bit too wide going at turn 5. But behind him, RC Rapids is too far adrift to be a big threat at this time. But he's on the prime tyres, and ahead of him, the other guys are not. So Rapids could be a thorn in their side come the end, as Blue Gunner has lost his wing on the 3 corners after coming out of the pits, but lost an end plate. And Jordan had to drive over that, but luckily got away with it. Temper 3D meanwhile is simply saying, oh dear, on the stream. I think it's in reaction to what happened to Craig Senna. As I said on the stream, it was suicidal driving, and really, you should know better than that. Pipe Piper and BHA Capoeira, closest cars to the track, and Pipe Piper's hit the wall, going into the Anderson hairpin, and look at this! RC Rapids fancies out, dragging him down towards the end of the Anderson Bridge, and into sector 2, RC onto the inside line. Can Rapids make this work? Yes, he can! Rapids goes on to 4th place!
Well, from somebody who had no confidence coming into this track, I'm sure his confidence is rocketing sky high at the moment.
Goes wide at PK, but Pipe Piper made a mistake and went through the chicane, so gained no advantage, and Pipe Piper is actually struggling and falling away from Rapids. Rapids starts 4th, remember, he started right at the foot of the field, and look at this. Here he is, going into the final corner, hustling Captain Waiter for 3rd. And in fact, I think they're going to take the lead here, because the lead guys are in the pits. Indeed they do. Rapids is now running in net P2, and he's on the alternate strategy. So who knows, he could be a major threat at the end of the race. Behind these guys, currently running in P4, Ryan has come out in clean air. He's got all the drivers behind him quickly. Irish Blue got an assist from McLaren driver, went straight back into the pits. Somehow he's made that profit. I don't know how he's got away with that. And he's close behind Ryan, DRS flat wide open. So he's going to be attacking for what's theoretically the lead here, because ultimately the guys ahead have not yet pitted. Into turn 7, Ryan's just too far ahead. So Blue going to wisely realise that and just focus on getting a clean exit and trying to close the gap down the old-fashioned way. Best thing you can do.
I'll tell you what, even though Captain Ware started on brand new option tyres and his tyres obviously, his options will be in slightly better condition compared to those around him, Rapids is closing in pretty quickly.
It's a real surprise. You see these giant killing performances sometime. And Rapids now P2, net gain of 12 positions. Admittedly, he's not stuck, but that's not the point. We've seen him overtake, we've seen him duel, and he's managed to keep himself in position here. Is it going to put him at the front for a win? Unlikely. But could he sneak a podium? Possibly.
One thing I have just noticed though, he has lost an empire.
Craig Senna's just going to move on one of the Lotuses from P12. That's how far Craig Senna's down. Ahead of him, Ascassin is 11th.
Oh dear, not good for the championship leader.
Ascassin running in P11 in the Mercedes, and he's got Craig Senna and Rebel, who tries to dive on the inside of the Anderson Bridge, contacts Ascassin. Ascassin goes wide and hits the wall. Craig Senna really should let both Apex Beast and Ascassin through there, as that really wasn't the cleanest of moves, but he scampered off down the bridge, and that's going to definitely be investigated by the stewards after the race.
Captain Ware to boxes and goes for another set of the option tyres. Now, I think he's going to come out in relatively clean air here. I think he'll be in 5th place. It depends on... Well, actually, he could be a witty battle with someone, actually. He's not coming out in 6th. I think it's Jordan, actually. He's down to the prime tyres. So Jordan has undercut Captain Ware.
Flame Dragon, meanwhile, started P2, running P10. Got the DRS open though, going to try and attack one of the Lotuses by the looks of it. Oh, he breaks very early, and Flame Dragon smacks him off the track through turn 2. Fortunately, Flame Dragon realises that it was his mistake, and amazingly, suffers no damage, and neither does the Lotus driver either. Both guys very lucky there. Luke Dawson will be breathing a few deep breaths after that one, I get the feeling there. And meanwhile, the Flame Dragon DRS flop open, running in P9, goes to the outside for turn 6, and Luke Dawson just sees him coming and goes, get out, go, I don't want to race you anymore, and lets him through.
Yeah, Luke Dawson, who is, he's actually a brand new driver into the XRL division, well, the league actually, I should say. He is in F5, he is covering for us tonight, but he showed to me last week when I did steward for F5 that he has got the pace to run with the top people in that division. So, did tell me that he was going to be staying well out of people's way and doing his own thing.
RC Rapids, interestingly, has a 10-second gap on Ryan, and they're on the same tyres. Now, if RC Rapids can make those up primes, last or around, say, lap 14, he could be a serious problem for these guys. But it's a question of how good his tyre wear is. We're on lap 8 at the moment. It looks like he would have qualified, but then he started 14th. So it's likely they're a brand new set as well that are unblemished by qualifying. So it'll be interesting to see if he can stay where he is at the moment.
I would think the prime tyres would be a bit of a push to last 14 laps. I think 12 laps would be more comfortable for him. So you could potentially see him stretch a 2-stop, maybe. But I would probably say he'd go with a general 3 and maybe do 3 more option spins after these and just go for it like qualifying laps.
Well, in the meantime, I've got a bit of a field spread, unfortunately, Mark. It's running now in P7. We've got Merdes Miede. Oh, I'm getting annoyed by trying to even pronounce that name. And then in the 8th place, we've got Flame Dragon in the Red Bull, trying to recover after a terrible start. Luke Dawson in P9 might be a cover from F5000, but currently up for 2 points at the moment. Craig Senna, meanwhile, is involved in a duel in 10th place, but we've got a bit of a cloud hanging over him after his move on Ascassin. Ascassin, though, down in 12th. A fall of 9 positions. He's got to be furious. I get the feeling there's going to be a few comments about some of the moves made on the racing here tonight, and no doubt the stewards are going to be busy after this one. So Ryan getting chased down RC Rapids actually. That gap has come down a very, very big amount. Evidently the difference between 9 lap old prime tires and 1 lap old is quite extraordinary. Gap is around about 4 seconds. So you get the feeling Ryan might have DRS here if he gets a great one for sector 3, but more likely he'll have the DRS on the next lap.
I think you could probably find the Rapids near box just to get out of the way. And obviously not cost himself too much time by having to block around, because with a brand new set of tyres, as I said, you're probably going to lose maybe around 2 seconds a lap with the car behind you. So yeah, it's just simply a matter of time before Ryan, catches up. I think there's a battle going on for third actually, going into turn 1.
Down to Irish Blue Gunner currently in the McLaren being chased by Sick Harry. He's got the DRS, so we'll stay on board with it. It's a good spot there, madam. As we head down towards turn 3, goes on the outside. Oh yeah, you can see Sick Harry's got better traction than the Irish Blue Gunner and the McLaren there, and he's going to definitely have the DRS. And if that's the move at turn 5, he's not going to hang around here. They're side by side for turn 5. I've not seen that before. And Sick Harry pulls wide onto the dirty line. That's going to compromise his speed, but he gets the flap open, deploys his curves, and fancies a late lunge into 7. Can he get on the brakes? Yes, he can. Has he stopped the car? Oh, beautiful. Really took that position beautifully there. And Jordan now is right behind them as well. We've got a 3-car scrap for the final step on the podium.
That was important for Harry to get ahead of Blue Gunner, because Jordan was catching up very quickly, and both Harry and Jordan are on the same tyres as Jordan's probably going to have a look into the old Singapore sling, which I'm actually a little bit annoyed about that they've actually changed it to just the...
Oh, mistake from Blue Gunner, got on the brakes, lost his traction through the aforementioned corner, then makes a mistake at the chicane, so Jordan just drives clean past him and goes cheers. But either way, he's lost about a second there on Sick Harry, so as you said, very important that Sick Harry got past. Up in front, meanwhile, we do a battle for the lead. It looks like, yes, Ryan has actually got past Rapids. I'm guessing he out-dragged him down the Anderson Bridge, because he was nowhere near the DRS zone.
If I was Rapids, I would box this lap. Same with Blue Gunner. They haven't got the traction coming out of the corners. They're struggling. They're getting a lot of oversteer. So I think now would be the time. Oh,
Irish Blue Gunner's trying his vehicle! Great opportunity now, because of course if he dives straight into the box, which he does, Rapids, it was at the pit entrance when that happened, and Sick Harry has also done some kind of lag and lost his end plates. So Irish Blue Gunner has brought the safety car out, don't know what happened, and all of a sudden, BHA all up ahead, Rapids has dived straight into the box, and he was right at the pit entry. Blue Gunner, what happened there?
The batteries went very low, so I didn't get the vibration of the controller, so I didn't know how bad my tyre wear was on that lap, so I just lost the back end and pity.
I mean, it looked like you were on for a decent position. Obviously, you're on the reverse strategy and probably looking at the pit stop window. Obviously, that's all changed now with the unfortunate circumstances. But did you have a chance of getting some more higher profile points towards the end of the race?
Well, at the start of the race there, I was got hit off, and I got a 10-second penalty due to side lift. So I hit the side of the car and he's gone behind me.
Yeah.
But due to that, then I said, "Take it anyway. I'll keep going and see how." I knew I could do about 10 to 11 laps on these tires. So and then hit again times and see what happens. So that's gone out the window.
Oh, big commiserations there. Obviously, we're looking forward to the Suzuka and Yongnam rounds in Japan and Korea. Are those tracks more suited to your liking?
Yeah, they'd be more suited, not as tight as this place, so I'd be able to keep back up there. I was about 7 seconds off the pace start of the week and brought it down to about 3. So it wasn't too bad for this race, but next race is I should be back on form.
Okay, well, commiserations to you. Thank you very much for your comments. Put your feet up and enjoy the rest of the race.
Thanks very much. Bye.
On the stream, Fozzie is being pointed out that he's obviously not far off with the safety car prediction. He predicted lap 13, lap 11 has come out. So a few points to you there, Fozzie. But yeah, so we are under safety car conditions here at Marina Bay, Singapore. So that's going to close the pack right back up now. Wisconsin running in P10 is on fresh prime tyres. This might be a chance for him to get closer to the field at the front, but you get the feeling that his ship is it's John Digweed. I don't know how he's done that. Has spun under the safety car into the Tenco barrier, but got away without damaging his vehicle or writing off the car. He almost did a Roman Grosjean, but got away with it.
And the guys who were just behind him or ahead of him have got away with that as well. But you mentioned about Wisconsin being in 10th place. Obviously, this has not been a good race for him so far, but look how far behind they are of the safety car already. Are they even going to catch up to it in time?
Well, the safety car only goes at around about 60 miles an hour, doesn't it? And of course, the prop goes up to 100 on certain straights. As Rapids has pulled off outside the line, he's got to be careful he doesn't go too slow here, or the game will glitch, and he will be passed in 5th place by Jordan, somebody he can ill afford. So he's managed to keep it going, but the safety car's coming up to old Singapore Sling now, turn 10. I think that's all it's called now, turn 10. It's actually not got a proper name anymore. And Craig's, you're looking back to Wisconsin, he's only just going through turn 7, so they are going to definitely catch the safety car up. But it might be around about the grandstand where they catch it.
Yeah, I mean we had it. There was this when the first safety car came out in the F1 division. I was right behind it after the first lap, and second place, my teammate LGS did not get behind me until literally the end of the lap. So it just shows, even with a long circuit like Singapore, and even with the safety car going so slowly, it is difficult to catch up. And you know what? I can see at least the back 3 cars for definite will not be on the back of it, as Ryan is now starting to hold the pack over as the safety car pulls away.
Yeah, so with the safety car obviously coming in this lap, we didn't get the engineer message surprisingly, but no one's being glitched out. So we're right on board with 5th place Jordan, I think will be the best way to take this. As we go into the grandstand here, and you can see behind most of the cars start backing up. Ryan gets straight on the gas, but the other guys have followed him, they've not been fooled. And we can see that Jordan on the prime tyres has lost pace already to RC Rapids and Sauber, who's chasing after the McLaren of BHA Cap and Wader. He's recovered beautifully, he's in P3 now, but up ahead, look at the gap already that both Sick Harry and Ryan have. And in fact, BHA Cap and Wader's under big pressure here from RC Rapids. Rapids is going to have a go. Coming out of turn 3, he's got much better traction. Going into turn 4, I think he's going to have a go into turn 5 here, unbelievably. Gets on the inside line. Shots across there. The McLaren at the tighter line. Always going to lose that position out. He's got to be careful that Jordan doesn't get too close to pilfer it here.
Yeah, Captain Ware, his option tyres are about 5 laps old now, so they've probably seen better days, whereas Rapids, some brand new options. So he's the guy in the box seats at the moment, and if he gets ahead of Captain Waiter, he could have a look at Harry, who's on the prime tyres, and maybe even have a look at Ryan.
I doubt he'll have the pace to catch up to Ryan, but you can definitely see him getting all over the cigar. He's having a look into turn 10, and he's feeling very punchy here. Rapids gets a little tap on the McLaren as we're going to turn 11 and 12. He saw that. Look at that. Capoeira went through turn 12. All 4 tyres off into the Anderson hairpin. Rapids taps the outside wall and gets away with no damage. Over the Anderson bridge, curse deployed, gets on the power, and you can see already that BHA Capoeira's got defensive state to the inside. Going into turn 14, Rapids takes a look, and at the same time, Capoeira goes wide on the outside. Nearly spins the car. That's up ahead. Meanwhile, look at this. Harry's lost an end plate and he's collided with the wall. That Williams will be in all sorts of trouble as we go into PK. Capoeira is backing these guys up. He's got such poor traction.
All this is doing now as well is they're on the back of Sick Harry, who has lost an end plate. He's clearly struggling, and could Captain Ware actually attack more than having to defend?
He's all over the side. Now Harry's actually going to the pits. Harry's boxed. He's going to be right at the back of the field. Unbelievable. He wants to get that wing out of the way straight away. But getting to the slow. Rapids now looking at the back of BHA Captain Waiter. Heading into turn 1, but he's just not close enough to attack at this moment. And the orange turn 3 gets a tighter line. Captain Waiter goes over the curve a bit too much. That spits him out a bit wide. And as a result, Rapids gets on the curve. Fancies an opportunistic pass into turn 5. BHA Captain Waiter sees it there. They're side by side. Wheels touch, but there's no dirty moves. DRS available. Flap on from Rapids as we head down towards turn 7. Captain Waiter's responding with all his curves and goes defensive to the inside line. Rapids switches back, souls in the dummy. Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. Great driving.
Fantastic from Rapids. Opportunistic move. He defends into the next corner. And now Jordan. Jordan actually gave
Jordan hit the back there of BHA Capelwaiter, caught out. And as a result, Flame Dragon, what a recovery. He's now in 5th place. And he's getting over across these guys. Oh, overhead, and Gorkana's bouncing on the circuit. That's Rapids. He was literally doing like his car was being abducted by aliens. I've never seen that before in this game. What? Oh my God, viewers. Am I high? Am I drunk? What's going on? Don't drink and drive, as Bernie says, doesn't he? He says, pick before you drive.
And I shouldn't be doing that before an F1 race, then, should I?
Oh dear, Jordan meanwhile under the Anderson Bridge as Flame Dragon takes a look up the inside, gets a little kiss from his tyres there, but he gets away with it. And now Rapids, unfortunately, may get asked to leave the race because of his connection here. That'd be a real travesty because he's fought so hard.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it throughout the rest of the race. If drivers are complaining about it during the race, then obviously we may have to ask them to leave, but for the time being, we'll just see how he goes.
Meanwhile, Merdis Merde under pressure for Craig Senna. Craig Senna's a big loser here. He's actually lost out to his teammate on the safety car. So Captain Wade does into the box as Flame Dragon extends horribly at the final corner. He almost goes into the grandstand. He goes so wide.
I'll tell you what, Rapid is closing in.
That's assuming he's not. That's assuming he's not being abducted by aliens. But at the moment, yeah, you are. Oh, he's hit the wall! Has he lost an end plate on the wrong side of the car? He's even losing one end plate there. Meanwhile, Blue Gunner simply says some balls on the stream. Well, we heard what your comments were in the box. Commiserations to you. As Flame Dragon's got the DRS on the back of Jordan, who goes nicely through turns 7 and 8. So Jordan not under real pressure yet. Merdis Merde, meanwhile, is under big pressure from Craig Senna and the Red Bull on the prime tyres.
That gap at the front is slowly closing down every sector. Not like Rapids corner going turn 12 there, but yeah, that gap is slowly reducing. That's the difference between these options and the prime tyres. I did mention there could be at least a 1.5 second difference between the two compounds, and this is definitely working into Rapid's favour. He's got the prime tyres out of the way now. He can go on the options for, well, two more stints on option tyres, and he could give Ryan a run for his money.
Flame Dragon currently in P4, trying to attack the back of Jordan, but Jordan's actually pulled slightly ahead. Flame Dragon is a little bit of a lag spike, but gets away with it. Didn't seem to drop too far back on the circuit. Meanwhile, Merdis Merde is under pressure. Craig Senna sticking with it despite being on the slower compound tyre. But this is the last thing Craig Senna wants, to be stuck behind a slower driver who's only there purely because of the compound of tyres. As into the final corner, Craig Senna goes wide. Look at that track extension. What was that? Absolutely nowhere near the circuit. Come on, keep it in the white lines.
You tell him, Swish.
Meanwhile, Flame Dragon caught up a little bit to the back of Jordan here. Goes into turn 5, gets a little wide on entry, but manages to arrest it with a bit of power. DRS flat wide open, curves being deployed. Flame Dragon doing all he can to catch the Jordan, but that Mercedes seems to be very strong in a straight line because he was not catching up. Oh wait, yeah he was, there was lag. Great.
We know that we have lag at some point in every single race, Swish. I hate to be a little bit charismatic, perhaps, but it seems to be happening more with our Irish residents.
I'm going to do an Alistair Cook on that one and shoulder arms. Apex Beast in P9 has got Pied Piper in the Williams. He's in the big loser in this race so far. He's down in 9th place. Heading into turn 10, Pied Piper in the Williams is trying to attack. Into turn 11, he seems to have so much more pace, but he's just stuck in traffic. And when you get stuck, well, what are you going to do? You've got to try and find a way by. And it slows you down all the time. So many drivers have complained about that. Tracks like Monaco and also tracks like Singapore. If you get caught in the wrong position in the traffic, you're going nowhere.
Another person who's having a terrible race, and that is Escassin. He is absolutely nowhere, still in 10th place.
And he's behind Pied Piper by about a second and a half, so he's going to get into DRS range, and Pied Piper keeps getting held up here by the Lotus, but otherwise, pretty much a hopeless race and a total nightmare. One of those that's gone from like heads to tails is really little. Pied Piper goes through the chicane at turn 23, not on that really, you've got to avoid doing that. Into the final corner, clips the outside, oh look how wide he's taken that! That's the third driver I've seen do that now!
Yeah, guys, they need to be a little bit careful because he can quite easily cut that second corner by going too wide at turn 1. So yeah, they need to be careful. Just brake
it's
a
the
little
final
earlier.
corner I'm seeing it. I've seen a lot of the final corner. I've seen a lot of drivers going so wide they're almost into the Tepco barrier. They're nowhere near the circuit. But Ryan, hello, this is juicy. Look at Rapids. He's less than a second behind the Ferrari driver. Game on.
Well, he didn't have DRS coming down the main DRS straight, but he is definitely with the second now as they come up towards the Anderson hairpin.
Going towards the famous bridge onto the inside of the corner. How does Rapids take that? Nice and wide an entry. Gets a clean exit, and look at that, he's already catching up to Ryan, and Ryan, despite being in a Ferrari, may have more drag on that car, because Rapids is closing him down. Oh, it locks up, caught by the braking of Ryan. I don't think he expected him to brake there, but a bit of junk on his left rear tyre and his left front, but I think he's going to get away with that into turn 16 before PK, and you can see that he's just more confident on getting the power down. Such is the difference between the options and the primes.
What Rapids has got to do, he's got to pass Ryan as soon as possible, because these option tyres will probably only last him maybe another couple more laps, whereas Ryan may stay out a little longer on his prime. Oh, he just clashes the wall out there.
Ryan's in! Ryan's in the box! Ryan's in already! That's a surprise! So Ryan's dived in. As a result of that, unbelievably, RC Rapids takes the lead, and he's got Jordan behind him, then Flame Dragon. There's another car's also in the pits behind Ryan. I'm not sure who that is. That is possibly one of the Williams. No, actually, it's Merde in the Sauber. So that frees up a couple of the other guys. Luke Dawson, meanwhile, in P6, doing a good job so far, the F5000 runner. And in P6 now, it's also his teammate Apex Beast. Thanks to the pit stops, they're now running 5th and 6th place. And then we got a scrap with a Scarson in 7th. But Pied Piper dies on the inside out of turn 3. And who's going to have the DRS down to turn 7 here? Pied Piper's got no end plates left. He must be hating her Williams with no end plates. Going down towards turn 5. Oh, mistake by Pied Piper. Almost loses the car. And even though Scarson's not got DRS, he's going to possibly blast past him. Into turn 7, gets on the inside. But Pied Piper, oh, track extends to turn 8, gains an advantage. And wisely lets Scarson through. Or does he? No, he doesn't. He's just made a mistake. And he spun round. And Scarson, has got worried that he's going to get a penalty. And actually slows down as one of the Ferraris, I think that's John Digweed, goes through. That's Ryan on the option tyres.
I was actually thinking for a second because Stick Harry made a really early pit stop. I wonder if he may have actually had a chance on undercutting Ryan, but unfortunately he just didn't.
Apex Beast, meanwhile, has not been able to catch up to his teammate, despite being from one of the lower divisions of newer drivers. Apex Beast under real pressure here, because his teammate is doing a great job. Luke Dawson's certainly hanging on here through turn 16 into PK, and yeah, no team orders into play here, none of this. Apex is faster than you confirm you understand nonsense. These guys are racing.
Both Apex. Oh, Flame Dragon takes too much of the exit curve at turn 22. He gets away with that. He's a very lucky boy. But as I was just saying, Apex Beast, he's actually in F5000 himself. He's not teammates in F5 with Luke Dawson, but they've obviously raced together at Monza, and well, the teammates for tonight at least anyway.
In the pits at the moment, RC Rapids is in for a second set of prime tyres, so that means that Ryan will have gone past him. And Escarcin, and also as well, Isle of Jigsaw, not Isle of Jigsaw, they're going to become ahead of him. Sick Harry, I don't know where Jigsaw's came from, coming out of turn 3. And as a result of that, so Rapids are slotted out into traffic, but on fresh prime tyres. 12 laps to go. I think he's made his final stop.
I think he has as well. But this is the question that Fozzie actually asked on the stream, asking would it be better to go one more set of prime tyres or go 2 sets of options? I wouldn't want to go. Oh, Piper retired.
Piper retires. Meanwhile, we've just seen a front wing red plate coming off full of Lotus drivers, and Ryan past the middle of the inside, they touch tyres. I'm not sure how legal that was, going into turn 11. Oh, Ryan gets tapped on the rear wheel, but just about keeps it on the track. Ryan was very, very fortunate there. Ahead of him, meanwhile, Luke Dawson, his sister Lotus, is doing a great job in P4. Piper, what caused retirement?
I just couldn't keep it on the track. I was losing it all over the place. At the start, it was really good. I mean, I was 8th and I was up on a load of places because of a 3-car overtake on the main straight, but couldn't keep on the track. The tyres went, can't remember what lap, must have been lap 7. I dropped a ton of time. Tyres went again just then, lost it, hit the wall, probably about 30 seconds behind anyone else, no real chance of points, so couldn't really see any point continuing. I was kind of becoming hazardous.
RC Rapids trying to go around the outside into the grandstand, realises there's no way through there and backs out. Escarcin is now holding him up. Escarcin, who qualified 11 places higher on the grid, and makes a mistake at turn 22. Oh! He spins into Rapids, and side pod glitches him. Right pod Rapids drops down to 10th, and also Escarcin loses out big time there. A huge incident.
Oh, this is help Flame Dragon, who's just made his pit stop from P2. He's come out into 8th place, just ahead of Rapids' teammate Murder. Yeah, behind the McLaren, I believe, is that on PHA Captain West. So not bad from Flame Dragon there. He's put himself in a good position, I think, for a podium now that unfortunately Rapids has had that incident with Escarcin.
We'll have to take a look at that after the race, of course, to determine if there was any potential foul play. But it looked to me that it was just a case of correcting the lines that the cars touched. But you can see that Murder's Mayday trying to catch up to Flame Dragon is pulling away from him. And as a result of that, he's actually now all over the back of BHA Capoeira. Up ahead of them, meanwhile, running in P6, we've got Sick Harry, who's gone through the chicane. Well, Lotus is getting out of his way.
Yeah, it's probably Luke. Yeah, that'll be Luke Dawson just laying through. As now Captain Waiter, Flame Dragon, and Murder's Mayday now on the back of him as well. So, yeah, important to say, Harry again to get ahead of a driver.
It was Apex Beast, not Luke Dawson.
Oh, it was Apex Beast, my apologies.
Meanwhile, Blue Guy thinks that Jordan's going to win. Well, he might do. I'm not really sure where he is on track at the moment. But Apex Beast...
Sorry, Flame Dragon, have a look at the turn 16 of all places. Have a look on the inside of Captain Waiter.
Oh, Captain Waiter's on the inside of the grandstand. Oh, collision with Apex Beast. I think what happened there is after the move that happened, and as a result, Flame Dragon is now facing the wrong way under the grandstand. And also the Sister Lotus there. Well, this is really dangerous. Escarcin gets away with that, somehow drive through the pair of them. That was really dangerous driving there. Apex Beast gets on, and the Sister Ferrari of John Digweed almost caught up in that as well.
Well, I may have just I think I've commented because Flame Dragon, I said he was on a potential podium finish, and now he's down in 11th place. He's on the back of the Ferrari already of John Digweed.
And he's just going to breeze past him by the looks of it to turn 1. Oh, and he's caught 4 tyres over the inside of turn 1 there. Fozzie simply asks on the stream, what is going on? I don't know. Someone tell me the answer.
It's just mayhem, Fozzie, is all I can sum it up as.
RC Rapids now in 7th place after that unfortunate collision, and now we've got Murder's Mayday chasing down the sister Mercedes of Jordan. Jordan down in 5th place. I can't see him being any threat for victory here, and Murder's Mayday is not really catching up to him. So Jordan's got a chance to maybe haul himself onto the podium at best. Ahead of Jordan, meanwhile, we've got BHA Capoeira in the McLaren doing a great job, and then Sick Harry hanging on there in the Mercedes in P3, not Mercedes, in the Williams, sorry, in P3. Luke Dawson somehow is now in P2 though. Where's that come from?
He hasn't made a pit. He's only made the one pit stop is what Luke Dawson's done. He's going for, I would say, probably just one more stop.
If he can make those tyres last another 4 or 5 laps, he'll have enough time to use the options at the end.
He's looking in a really good position now with Luke Dawson. Fantastic. Fantastic from him tonight.
BHA Capoeira is feeling the pressure that's behind him. Jordan in the Mercedes is really attacking. But at the same time, we've got that concertina effect where BHA Capoeira's gap to Jordan is about the same as Jordan's gap to Mertens Merde. Neither one's really catching up. Heading into...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, go on, you've received a message, read it.
Sorry, just going to received a message
Jordan's
from,
made a mistake at turn 2, and that's going to open the door for Mertens Merde. He's got marbles on the tyres, but I think Mertens Merde was just too far behind.
Just received a message, I was going to say, from FIF Alonso, who's doing the GP3 race tonight. He was just asking if we'd had a safety car because they've had one, and, well, as everyone who's watching the stream tonight for us is, yes, we have.
So was that live tonight?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I don't think it is, but I think Alonso will probably be recording it and then put it onto YouTube at a later date.
Well, bear that in mind, viewers. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel, of course, Excite Racing League. We are on there. Plenty of past races to watch, past moves, and also a few dirty jives from randomless, nameless people who are jiving at the commentary teams. As Jordan goes over the inside of turn 11, that gives him a great run on BHA Capoeira. We've gained, whether legally or not. He's going to have a go into the Anderson hairpin, but he's just too far behind. But a mistake from BHA Capoeira. Poor traction. And Jordan now is trying to go around the inside on the Anderson Bridge into turn 14. And I think he's made that stick. Can he keep on the inside? Yes, he can. Great driving.
Dick Harry now is all over the back of Luke Dawson. For Petit, Luke Dawson's gone wide at turn 16, and that's a move for Harry.
He's easily got out of the way now. Luke Dawson knew that he was going to be compromised, so rather than cause an incident to PK, just let him through. Into the grandstand, BHA Capoeira is all over the back of Jordan, who made that move on the Anderson Bridge. So Capoeira's not going to make this easy. Goes all full of tyres on the inside of 22 though. Gets that wrong. It's something you've got to avoid doing. Into the final corner. Let's see how this is taken. Pretty beautifully, actually, gets a lot of pace out of that, and now opens the door. But behind him, Mertens Merde's got the DRS flap open down towards turn 1. Is he closer to make a move? No, he's not. Mertens Merde going through turn 3, going to get DRS hit down towards turn 5, turn 6. Mertens Merde getting decent traction. His teammate is behind him very quickly. So all of a sudden, RC Rapids back in contention. Flat wide open his teammate down towards turn 7. But the advantage is negated because Mertens Merde's got that as well on the back of BHA Capoeira. And actually Rapids has gone off the track on the outside. And we've got a huge train of cars from 2nd place to 7th. All maybe 3 seconds apart. Where has this come from?
Jordan made a move on Luke Dawson down the DRS straight before turn 7. Easy move for him, and he's catching very quickly onto the back of Harry. Jordan's looking good here for potentially P2. He's all over the back of him as he's coming towards the Anderson Heath. He's got no curves to attack, so he'll probably stay behind him and wait for the DRS on the main straight, and well, possibly even before turn 1 potentially.
Now that's interesting. One of the Saubers is looking to attack back at BHA Capoeira as Luke Dawson in P4 going to the outside wall. Oh, one of the cars appeared to hit the wall there. I'm not sure who that was. BHA Capoeira in 5th and then Mertens Merde in 6th, and now he's holding his teammate up. RC Rapids is in the better position, and now he thought he was going to get a chance to go on the inside towards the grandstand corner, and we've got a 4-car train from all the way from 7th place to 4th, covered by maybe 2 seconds. This is crazy stuff here.
Jordan on the inside of Harry into turn 22, and he's taking it. Jordan in P2.
On the inside, and Luke Dawson goes on 4 times on the inside as Mertens Merde finally gets out of the way of his teammate, and RC Rapids with DRS open down towards turn 1. Luke Dawson's got the same advantage, but he's not as confident on the brakes, and as a result, RC Rapids goes into P5 and is now very close to BHA Capoeira. He should get DRS here down towards turn 7.
Now, what I have to think about here is Ryan, the race leader, will have to pit again because he's on option tyres. Jordan does not have to pit again on his prime tyres. It's a case of where will he come out?
Luke Dawson's just been blasted past under DRS by Craig Senna. Well, Craig Senna appears to go all 4 tyres potentially over on the inside at turn 7. Although the move was done, You can argue as well which gaining an advantage from it. Into turn 9 now, and Rapids is really close down to BHA Capoeira. There's maybe a cigarette piece of paper between them now. Going into turn 10, Rapids knows there's no real way to attack in there, barring an error. Into turn 11, both drivers keeping it on the course. Oh, bit of a mistake with Rapids, nearly went into the wall. Going into the Anderson hairpin, and you can see that Capoeira favours the wider line, whereas Rapids takes the tighter line. Going up the inside, he's in the slipstream, no curse to attack, but he's not going to be put off. Going around the outside of 14, as BHA Capoeira defends to the middle of the track. Rapids thinks about trying to dummy him and go for an undercut, but he's just not close enough, and now Craig Senna has joined into this.
Craig Senna is doing a fantastic job for Tier 6. I mean, we know he had that incident earlier on the race, but the safety car has helped him. He's brought himself right back into contention.
Rapids fancy the move into the grandstand, and now as a result of that Craig Senna fall by trying to go the outside, both drivers are aborting the moves before any tears could fall. But I said Craig Senna's got to be careful though. He has been seen corner cutting quite a lot, and that's the only problem. RC Rapids gets a decent run at the final corner, but so does BHA Capoeira. And even with the DRS, he's not really closing on that main straight, but you use that one to close and then the second one to pass. And I get the feeling that's what Rapids wants to try and do here, because he's already closed up the gap. Look how close it is. He's using the curves to get as close as he can into turn 5. Oh, goes all 4 times over the white line on the outside and hits the wall. Again, not sure if he gained an advantage, but look how close he is to Waiter. He's got the DRS off and goes onto the inside. Waiter tries to defend. So Rapids switches back to go around the outside of 7. Is he going to get forced off the track here by Waiter? No, Waiter gives him plenty of room. Very clean, respectful driving. Oh, Rapids wants to move the inside of turn 8. Cheeky stuff, but he's just not close enough to affect the pass.
And now to take Craig Senna is all over the back of me. He could take full advantage of these two if they're scrapping as they're coming towards into turn 10. He had a little look there, maybe.
He did have a look, but he just realised that ahead of him, RC Rapids is going to switch back across, and that would result in a very heavy collision into the Anderson hairpin. All 3 drivers taking a tight line. Who's got the advantage down the straight here? Craig Senna got poor traction out of that corner. Look how much closer RC Rapids and BHA Capoeira are compared to him. And RC Rapids finds the move on the inside of 14, but BHA Capoeira stoically defends. Nico Hulkenberg asked. And BHA thinks moving the inside of 16, backs out of it as they go into PK. And as a result, look at RC Rapids, he's got all the traction in the world, but the stubborn nature of BHA Capoeira, who's pretty much throwing up the horns and saying, "You shall not pass," as we hand around the street circuit here at Singapore. And actually, Capoeira's going to dive into the pits. Oh, but Rapids is doing the same. Rapids is going in for a fresh set of tyres. What's that? He's hit the back of Waiter as the pit speed limiter's come on. Why has Rapids gone in for a second set of tyres? Why has he done that?
Has he done that just because of his front wing?
Well, if he has, unfortunately, Capoeira's going to easily do it because of the loss of time changing the wing around. Flame Dragon's now in P5, and that's pretty much gifted the win to Ryan.
Ryan's actually made a pit stop, and he had the DRS on Jordan, and he just got ahead of him. So he's on another set of option tyres. So I do think Ryan will now streak away. He should have this victory, unless obviously he makes mistakes. But good effort from Jordan there. He was ahead for about 4 corners before Ryan did make the overtake, but it was a very simple one.
We've got an interesting battle coming up here, viewers, because Flame Dragon is catching up to Craig Senna, his teammate. So Craig Senna has got ahead for now, but it's a question of whether his tyres can last or whether Flame Dragon can come back at him. In 3rd place, meanwhile, we've got Sick Harry, who's done a great job for Williams today. Really shown good pace. And actually, Jordan is not too far behind Ryan. Don't write Jordan off yet. All of a sudden, we might have a duel here if he can close that gap.
I'm going to stick my neck out here and I'm going to say he won, simply because Ryan is on brand new option tyres, whereas Jordan's on prime. Oh, it's Craig Senna goes really wide at turn 16. His prime tyres are a little bit second hand, and he's just going to lose time to Ryan. So I think this is Ryan's win to lose now. He's in control. He just needs to keep it clean.
On the stream, meanwhile, just Key asking, does anyone know what's going on in GP3? Aside from an update which Bobbers has posted about there being a safety car, not much else is known. It was not streamed, but we do believe it may have been recorded, so hopefully full news of that will happen on the YouTube channel. Keep your eye on the highlights for that. Meanwhile, Murder in 6th place is ahead of BHA Capoeira, and Capoeira's got a gap of about 4 seconds now on Rapids. So having thought potentially for a podium, Rapids is possibly on for an 8th place finish, but still, starting massive 14th to 8th place. I think you'd take that, wouldn't you?
I think he's going to be a bit disappointed in that, actually, because he was running, he had a potential podium chance, halfway through the race, and it's that side pod glitch that he had with Ascassin that's potentially costing that chance, as well as having...
Speaking of Ascassin...
Chris had a lag, his teammate's gone ahead, but Flame Dragon's gone into the wall at turn 8, and he retakes by 4th. But yeah, Ascassin, P12.
Not only P12, but he's way behind the points. This has been one of the biggest falls in a race that I've seen in a long, long time. Qualified up in the top 3, not even going to finish in the points. Wow.
Potentially could even be a lap down.
Now that would be the ultimate humiliation and be a real sign of the championship coming back to life. It reminds me in many ways of when Jenson Button finished 16th in Canada in 2012, when he was completely off the pace of his teammate Lewis Hamilton.
Craig Senna's just hit the wall at turn 14. He's lost an end plate, so this is going to be a teammate Flame Dragon.
According to Spinning on 56, the GP free stream has 1 viewer and nothing's going on, really. I didn't even know it was being streamed.
Oh, it is being streamed. It is. It does have 1 view, and I'm going to make it as the second one. Just have a quick look.
Well, as I say, I had no idea it was being streamed, viewers. So apologies there to Alonso and everybody else who's watching that. I probably stole all your glory. Flame Dragon in P5, we're trying to catch up to Craig Senna, but it's just not close enough at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just looking at them. Yeah, there is nobody really close together. Apart from maybe the very front 2, which are in the pits, but yeah, nothing's going on there.
Luke Dawson, meanwhile, 9P9 in a Lotus. He's done a decent job considering he's covering from F5000 and he's a new to the league as well. He's doing a good job. And John Digweed, he's quietly kept himself in the points, only in P10, it's only with 1 point, but he's about 6 seconds ahead of Apex Beast. Provided he doesn't make any catastrophic errors, he should cling on and keep a point. As for Ascassin, though, he's only just started Sector 2. So far off the pace. Ryan, meanwhile, is about 6 seconds behind him. Ryan may well lap the championship leader.
I did say that he could do, and that point could be proven. I'm just trying to think actually, how many pit stops does Ascassin make? Because it was not a lap ago I saw him actually on option tyres. He's made 4 stops.
That's a lot of stops for a 50% distance. As Craig Senna now is actually called to Sick Harry. And behind Craig Senna, we've also got Flame Dragon. So we've actually now got a 3-way scrap for the podium. With 3 laps to go here at Marina Bay, Singapore. So let's ride on one here as Sick Harry. I think he's running into tyre trouble. And Craig Senna gets to move on the inside of the grandstand. And as a result, that Flame Dragon was caught out and nearly punched him into the wall there. The Flame Dragon got out of it. Craig Senna is all over Sick Harry like an unwelcome rat. As he heads towards the final part of this lap.
The problem Craig Senna's got though, he's missing 2. Beast
is running his vehicle, and Craig Senna goes wide in the final corner. So Flame Dragon takes the position, has DRS, and fastest move with Sick Harry. Goes on the inside in 2 positions. Oh, what was that though? Completely took advantage and had to give both positions back. And now they're free of press coming out of turn 3. Craig Senna goes through, and Flame Dragon's going to follow him, but now Sick Harry might have DRS and be able to attack the pair of them. Going through turn 5, mistake from Flame Dragon.
Harry's tyres have gone, he's sliding all over the place. He's just going to drop like a rash. It's between the 2 Red Bull drivers per P3. But
Flame Dragon has to be on the inside. Oh, Craig Senna was caught away on the brakes, and as a result, Flame Dragon tapped him. He went off the track, and Craig Senna has come back on behind him. If Flame Dragon does not let him through, that could be a penalty. As meanwhile, Sick Harry is in real trouble here, and he's actually going to fall further down the field because behind him now, pausing very quickly, is Merdes Merne in the Sauber.
Just make a note on that switch. Flame Dragon did not make any contact with Craig Senna. It was just simply Craig Senna outbraking himself because he's missing 2 end plates.
Oh, actually, the Sick Harry's got out of the way of Merdes Merne. He knows he's a liability. He knows he's going to cause an incident, so he's getting out of the way. Oh, meanwhile, what's going on with Flame Dragon's car? What is going on here? I'm watching him breakdancing on my screen at the moment.
Well, I'm all for breakdancing, but not in an F1 race.
What is going on with this connection? I feel like I'm high all of a sudden. So, like Flame Dragon, when you ride above him, it's fine. But following behind him, you don't know what's going on. Very crazy indeed. Craig Senna.
I'm looking back from Craig Senna's view. It's okay at the moment, but like I said, this could be down to our Irish residents' connections. And I hope he stays in because, you know, he's a quick driver, he's Flying Dragon, he deserves a podium.
The Apex Beast destroying his vehicle, unbelievable, there's no loss, there's no safety car. So I don't know that is unwatchable. I'm going to have to ride on board and look back from the Red Bull of Flying Dragon because this is not going to work, looking at Craig Senna's view.
But I'm looking from Craig Senna myself, but I'm not having the same issue as what you're getting. Flying Dragon is absolutely fine on my screen.
Well, now he's actually pulled quite far ahead of his teammate as we're on the yellow flags through sector 1 for some strange reason. Going into turn 7, yeah, Craig Senna's quite far behind and actually now out of DRS range. So it looks like the Red Bulls, though, are going to get 3rd and 4th place. Beautiful for them in the Constructors' Championship.
I would not count on that. Murder and BHA Captain Wade, 5th and 6th, brand new option tyres are closing in at 2.5 seconds to go a lap. With a lap and a half to go, they probably won't catch Flying Dragon, but they could catch Craig Senna.
Going into turn 10 on board with that duel now as Murder's Medic is wide at 10. That opens the door for Cap and Waiter, but he misses the chicane again at turn 11. Goes through the inside, gets nowhere near the racing line. And at the Anderson hairpin, you can see Murder's Medic's gone wide. So BHA Cap and Waiter is going to try clean around the inside of him. And that's as easy as taking candy from a baby at the moment. Going into turn 14 here, can Murder's Murder respond? No, he can't. So BHA Cap and Waiter is now out of traffic because Murder's Murder on worn tyres, Cap and Waiter is not. So all of a sudden, he's going to be fighting back into this.
Yeah, I can see Captain Ware being right on the back of Craig Senna. Maybe not for the first DRS on, but he'll have so much better grip through the corners. Oh, he's just got the corner cuts there. Again, he's got to be really careful, Captain Ware, to rear.
Yeah, because the problem is, I mean, obviously we don't know quite how many people have been seen doing the corner cutting. But going right at the end of the final corner, BHA Capoeira is not going to have DRS here. But if he can get a good run out of turns 1, 2 and 3, he might have an option down towards turn 7. And again, he goes off full tires slightly over the inside there. And goes into turn 3. He is close enough, but again, how much is that being gained by going over the white line?
Just a separate note, Swish. Ascassin has been lapped.
Wow. The champion, and there goes the flat on BHA Capoeira and all his curves. He's going all out attack into turn 7, but surely he's too far behind. He's going to get on the brakes nice and late, try and force Senna into a mistake, but Craig resists for now. Going out of turn 7 into turn 8, Craig Senna's got less traction than BHA Capoeira. My finger was slinging on the inside of turn 9. This will be mightily brave. They make contact, but no one goes off the circuit. Going into turn 10, BHA Capoeira has one possible opportunity down on the Anderson Bridge towards the end, so start sector 2. Going for 11 and 12 into the Anderson hairpin. This is critical for Waiter. He's got to get a clean exit out of this to try and blast past on the bridge.
He's going to be alongside. He's going to have the outside. He'll have him. He'll brake later, and I think he'll have him as Ryan wins.
Well, in the meantime, Ryan wins the race, but getting on the brakes here. Can he go around the outside?
Yes,
can he make this work? Yes, he can. He takes 4th place to Craig Senna with a very nice move on the final lap of the race. Craig Senna's going to limp home with 5th place, but I think he'll be quite happy with that. Middle of the pack is about where you would expect him to have finished here. And Flying Dragon, great recovery drive from him. Started right at the front, fell right down the field, and has come back onto the podium. Unlike a Skassin, who could not repeat the same glory.
Yeah, Murder actually on that final lap spun it at the end of turn 5. Oh, Captain Waiter! Oh, he's a lucky boy. He's a very lucky boy.
Well, meanwhile, Luke Dawson is running in P6 for Lotus. Very good job from him because he's, as I say, he wasn't expecting too much being a cover driver from F5000, but he's acquitted himself very well here, and he crosses the line to take 6th place.
Good result for Luke Dawson. I think he'll be happy with that.
Sig Harry's going to finish home in 8th. He'll be very disappointed with that because he initially was a threat. And then John Digweed, he's done a decent job. He's down in 9th place, and he's going to come home for Ferrari, getting 2 points. Yes, his teammate might have blown him out of the weeds for pace-wise, but ultimately points mean prizes. And Murders Merde in 10th place, going very, very slowly. Sans a front wing, but Skassin's not going to pass him, so that's the end of it. And he goes very, very wide in the final corner. He probably goes as much lock as he possibly could, and then spins it over the line for good measure.
Yeah, ooh, some people have got penalties there that we may need to talk about later on. But yeah, dominating for Ryan, comfortable with that finish.
Let's get all these drivers in here so we can get their thoughts on the podium, of course, and find out exactly what their reflection on a rather crazy race was. Ryan, we'll go over to you firstly. When you initially started the race, obviously you had the likes of Plain Dragon, the likes of Escarsin up at the front, and we're seeing that they can race hard and race very quickly. But once we saw Escarsin kind of drop like a stone, all of a sudden the power was definitely on your side. Did you think you'd be able to take the race in such a dominating fashion?
Well, I thought so until the safety car came out, and I thought that would have ruined my race, but still keeping my three-stop strategy with the 2 option stints, which helped me pull away at the end.
I mean, it's obviously very important to have the right tyres at the right time, and you certainly seem to have that in those final stints. I mean, looking back though, looking at the contest of the championship, with Escarsin failing to score here in Singapore, and you getting maximum points, do you think you've now got that final chance going into the final part of the season as we continue our Asian leg?
Well, not the next 2 weeks, I'm on holiday, but if I can do the same for India and so on, that'll be looking good, but at the moment it's just second place I want to get.
Well, big congratulations on you for your results today. As our results are obviously provisional until the stewards' reports are compiled, but as far as crossing the line, congratulations, so well done to you there, Ryan. Jordan, we'll go on to you then. For Mercedes, a tale of light and shade really, because in qualifying you didn't quite have the pace of your teammate, but in the race you just seemed to manage to keep yourself out of trouble as much, and despite being in traffic a lot and being involved in some duels, you managed to drag it home when it mattered and take those crucial 18 points.
It was quite a hard race, like, because the cabs are obviously like a killer around these, but like, you've got to stay away from the cabs but keep a good speed throughout the race, and I think it was just hard to maintain my whole wing really. It was hard to keep it like undamaged, because obviously like cabs can spin you into the walls and all that, so I was just happy to not lose any of my inputs throughout the race.
Well, obviously, you certainly managed to do so. Congratulations there. And with the performances sub to Ryan, with the Escarsin failing to get any points here today, obviously you've done the best that you could for Mercedes in the constructors by getting those points. Does this get you into contention to start chasing down your teammate for the actual driver's title?
Yeah, like, obviously it was mad what happened to him, but yeah, I think these 18 points are crucial to me possibly catching my teammate and maybe fighting for an automatic promotion spot.
Well, big congratulations on you then for your result today. A very hard fought race, so very, very well done to you. Meanwhile, Flame Dragon, we'll go over to you. In those final few laps, we saw ourselves watching a potential intra-team battle, and we also saw as well some great driving from some of the lower drivers getting in the way. Did you eye a podium in those final stints, or did you think the ship had sailed?
Well, I tried to undercut Jordan, but heading from the end, the bridge lost 30 seconds, and that also kind of hurt my tyres. But I thought the podium was still on. Like, 1 lap pace was stronger than the guys ahead, and I just pulled it off.
Well, obviously, I mean, you still managed to get a great result for the constructors there, getting the 15 points for yourself and also your teammate getting 10. Are you eyeing up any chances of getting towards the top echelons of the league, or are you focusing on just consolidating your position for the next season?
Well, it's still going to be a bit of a battle. I'm at 19 points, seeing as I've joined the league a few weeks ago, but still. I'll be hoping to get, say, 8th, 7th. No, that's my objective now.
Well, no doubt a third place podium with 15 points will be a big help towards that. Again, congratulations to you and also to all the drivers as well for finishing here. Now, of course, we'll say one thing, that these results are provisional. Obviously, it depends on the stewards' reports. You'll expect to see those very shortly on the forum, xracingleague.com. Tomorrow night, of course, you've got the double header of F5000 and T6. You'll have Dan Fisk on covering that, and also Weswick Gaming as well on channels 1 and 2. Back on Sunday night, of course, we will have the simulcast of the Formula 1 race, and then onwards to the final part of the Asian leg of the Grand Prix season. But in the meantime, brought to you by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk. I've been Pete Markov, joined in the box by Adam Roberts. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.